Shea Stadium was the scene of nostalgic celebration. Today, it's the scene of concern for one of their star pitchers as the Mets get set to complete a series with the Colorado Rockies. From Shea Stadium in New York, WB11 Sports presents New York Mets baseball. Today, the Mets play the Colorado Rockies. And a pleasant good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Shea Stadium. Gary Cohen, Ron Darling, Keith Hernandez with you. Last night, the Mets beat the Rockies for the second straight night. They celebrated the 1986 championship team. Today, they wake up with concern about Tom Glavine. Glavine has a medical condition. They don't know how serious it is, and they're going to find out more in the next couple of days. You know, he's had Raynaud's syndrome since 1990, which is kind of it cuts off the blood flow to your digits, fingers or toes. So he's had that problem, but it went to his ring finger, which was really a concern for Tommy. He had some procedures done. He had an ultrasound, and they saw some things that they did not like, and they're going to really do some tests in the next 3 days. They're going to do an angiogram, most specifically, to determine whether it's a blood clot, whether it's something more serious, whether it needs to be treated medically and maybe a short-term problem, or if it needs to be treated surgically and it might be a long-term problem. Now, early in the season, this team was so reliant on Pedro Martinez and Tom Glavine to carry the team. Well, now Pedro's on the disabled list for the second time, and now the Mets, the status of Glavine is very much up in the air.
Well, it's like circle the wagons. I mean, this is the chances you take. This is a veteran team, and their 1-2 starters in the starting rotation are guys that are on the waning years. Glavine's 40, and Pedro's in his mid-30s. And those are the chances you take. It is a long run here. It is a marathon of baseball season. And right now, what's happened, you know, it's the worst possible scenario. You lose your 1-2 starter. Those are hard to replace, particularly in today's game. From a team point of view, you have to circle the wagons, rally around. The offense has got to pick it up, and you've got to find someone now to pick up the slack as far as who's going to start.
Now, last night, Dave Williams came up and gave the Mets a very credible start. He'll get at least another turn in the rotation, and because there's an off day tomorrow, the Mets won't have to worry about another starting pitcher until Saturday. And as it happens, right now, they have a couple of pretty credible options.
They really do. Brian Bannister pitched really well in his last start, 8 shutout innings. And Oliver Perez last night, 7 innings, only 1 hit and 11 strikeouts. So they've got some guys to come up, but as Keith said, it's really hard to look at your number 1 and 2 starter at this date, August 20th, and not have them be able to make their starts.
So the Mets will be holding their breath about Glavine, hoping for the best possible results over the next couple of days. Meanwhile, they have a ball game to play today. Last night, they celebrated the 86 championship team. It was quite a night. We'll take a look back at that in a moment. Sunday afternoon in New York. Partly cloudy skies as we approach game time. Doesn't seem like there's any rain in the offing as we check out today's pitching matchup brought to you by Budweiser. This is beer. Jason Jennings, far better than his 7-9 record.
You know, 9 of his last 10 starts, 2 earned runs or less, only 1 win in all those starts. He's been one of the most dependable starters.
And El Duque will try and bounce back from his 11 earned run performance his last time out in Philadelphia.
You know, if you take that start away, Keith and Gary, he really has pitched beautifully the last 5 or 6 starts. Last start, of course, with 11 earned runs, the reason he needed to eat up some innings after the injuries.
He was asked to do much more than he would have otherwise because Pedro had pitched just 1 inning the night before. Speaking of the night before this one was a very special night at Shea Stadium. You guys part of the 86 championship team that was celebrated in an incredible voice by this crowd.
You know, it's had a chance to sink in overnight. You know, you didn't really realize how great it was, and I did at the time, but my goodness, you can hear the crowd there, and Frank Cashin, of course, was there. All the guys, and I woke up this morning with a stronger sense about what happened last night. It was wonderful.
Yeah, you had your head held up high this morning. And, you know, when you're in the middle of playing your career, you don't hear those sights and sounds. You just don't see it. And last night, to be able to walk out and take it all in, and a little out-of-body experience was just pretty amazing.
And getting together with your old teammates, I'm sure, was fun on the field and probably after the game, too.
Well, after the game, as always, that team was always great after the game. So why not last night?
We were great all-stars after midnight.
Well, it was a great night for the 86 team, and it was a pretty good night for the 06 team too. They almost channeled the 86 team in a certain respect. Carlos Delgado looked like a young Keith Hernandez playing first base, and the Mets came from 4 runs down to win.
Well, Carlos did have a very nice game defensively. A very nice diving play, nice couple scoops. But I tell you, the piping, that's the key. You got to line up the piping.
Always very important to keep your piping lined up. Words of wisdom from Keith Hernandez. The Mets will be wearing those 86 era uniforms again here today as they go for the sweep of the Colorado Rockies, trying for their 8th straight home win as we come back to Shea. New York Mets baseball is brought to you by Toyota, a smart way to keep moving forward. By Verizon Online DSL, now at a great low price. By Dodge, you can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge. By Budweiser, bright, clean, crisp, pure. This is Budweiser, this is beer. And by Infinity, using the power of design to create dynamic, beautiful automobiles. Orlando Hernandez makes his 15th start as a Met and his 24th overall this year. And here's the Nissan Rockies lineup he'll face. Garrett Atkins has homered in each of the 2 games of this series so far. Brad Hopp and Corey Sullivan, left-hand batters who had the night off last night against the left-hander Williams, back in the lineup today. And Yorvit Torrealba catching day game after a night game.
Well, Orlando Hernandez, 5 of his last 6 starts, he's given up runs in the first inning, and that's something that he is trying to work on. He is a control pitcher, and when you're a control pitcher, sometimes it takes you 10 to 25 pitches to get into your routine. That's hard to do. He needs to get off to a better start.
And El Duque is old enough that he could have worn those racing stripes in his prime.
That's right. Oh, look at that. He's lined up. I tell you, that's a W right there. I'm guaranteeing it.
Oh, nice. You are the Leg Cosini of uniform wearing.
Well, they're back to the purple buttons on top, Gare, and the hats. I mean, not the purple, the orange. The Mets hats.
That would be out of uniform for 1986. Got to have a blue button. Jamie Carroll leads off and takes ball 1.
I like those uniforms. I'm sorry.
Well, you look good in it.
Well, that's debatable.
2-0 to Carroll.
I see dead people.
Rick Down is going out of his mind. He's losing it.
It's a big caffeine morning.
Well, that's harmless.
And El Duque gets one over, 2-1. Jamie Carroll having himself a good year. First year he's ever been asked to play every day, and he's hitting over 300 with a .382 on base percentage. 3-1 to Carroll. Corey Sullivan waiting on deck.
Lastings Millage playing too deep in right field. Jamie Carroll, when he's up at the plate, you need to play him almost like a pitcher to right field, because he likes to serve that ball over the second baseman's head.
114 hits this year, only 27 for extra bases. On 3-2, he pulls one foul. Jamie Carroll, former Expos / National, got a chance to play quite a bit last year because Jose Vidro was hurt.
Great story you told about how he came to the big leagues. Just living in Indiana, the Expos were in Chicago, needed a body. He was the closest one.
In the air to center, easy for Beltran. And that's the first out of the afternoon. So 1 out and nobody on. Let's check in with another uniform expert, Chris Cotter.
Well, I do agree about the piping with El Duque. He certainly got it right today. But he's wearing the blue socks. Now, that's different from the 86 uniform. No stirrups. And Willie Randolph was asked about that the other day, and he said, my legs are too skinny to wear stirrups. My calves have atrophied. He said back in the day, when he could put 2 and 3 pairs of socks on, the stirrups were all right when he was with the Yankees. But now he wouldn't go that route. And the other thing, too, about El Duque, you'll notice the pants right below the knees. I was talking to Ralph Kiner yesterday about the uniforms, and he said, well, back in the day, you know, no player would ever wear his pants down to his shoe tops the way some of the players do now. And actually, that helped umpires in reading the strike zone, looking at the players, the bottom of their pants right at the knees. And so, you know, maybe that's one of the reasons why you're having consistent strike zones these days. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there.
No, that's a very good point that Ralph made right there. That I'm glad Chris brought that up, because when you wear your pants at the knees, the umpire does get a clear view of where your knees are in the strike zone.
So why wouldn't you just hike your pants over your knees to shrink the strike zone? 2-2 to Corey Sullivan.
That would look like he'd have knickers on or something.
But anything
Plus
to get
fours.
an advantage, right?
I draw the line there. I'm sorry, Gare.
There's Todd Helton.
He wears the high pants. And that's the pajama look. We used to call that when that first came in. George Hendrick used to wear his pants down like that in St. Louis.
And El Duque strikes out Sullivan. Or did he get a piece of it? He did get a piece of it. And it's still 2-2.
Well, change up looked like, and just got a little bit of a piece of it off probably the end of the barrel of the bat. All right.
Just barely got it because DeFelice just missed catching that foul tip.
So Duque will have to throw him another one, and he misses with a fastball, 3-2, so he's gone to a full count on the first two hitters. And he talked about his first inning problems, Ronnie. As a pitcher, if you're struggling in the first inning, what can you do to make things better? And the breaking ball pulled foul.
Well, you're bringing up a bad subject, because later in my career, I just had so much difficulty in the first inning, and I tried everything: warming up longer, warming up shorter, going down on the field and shagging balls during batting practice. I did everything. Finally, I would play long toss for a long period of time, get loose, and literally just pitch to the first three hitters. I would have the catcher there. He would set up and call the pitcher's fastball away, hit it, curveball in, hit it, and pitch to the first three batters, and then go to the field.
And did it help?
Well, it was at the end of my career. Not great. Yeah.
Popped up. And Beltran gives way to Tucker. And Tucker makes the catch, 2 away.
And, you know, Gary, it did help. I stopped giving up runs in the first. I couldn't stop giving up runs in the fifth. But El Duque today trying to do some of that. He was playing some long toss. Played literally for about 10 minutes long toss, which is a long time. Then no ball, kind of visualizing, throwing strikes, where he's going to throw the ball. And we've seen El Duque, from running in the outfield with bare feet to doing his yoga and Pilates, that he has a lot of different kinds of ways of getting ready for his starts.
What does that pantomime do for you that warming up wouldn't?
Well, you don't have the ball. So if you are throwing a ball and you're on the mound, the ball's not going to always go where you want it to go, right? If you don't have the ball, the visualization is always perfect. Do your windup, and that ball is going exactly where you want to. If you have the ball in your hand, it doesn't always do that.
But how do you know that your mechanics are good?
Well, you're working on it's a head game.
That's about your brain.
It's a complete head game, that you are on that mound, visualizing throwing strikes, and every time you do it, it's right where you want it to be. So you're just really playing with your head.
Ahead on Helton, 1-2, and he misses high. So El Duque, who has had those first inning problems, now with a chance for a 1-2-3 inning. Facing Todd Helton, who's celebrating his 33rd birthday today, as Matt Holliday waits, and it's struck the other way, and a base hit for Helton. So a 2-strike hit for Helton, and you know, watching Todd Helton in this series, that's kind of what he's become. He lost about 15 pounds when he had that bout with iliitis early in the season. Terminal iliitis, we talked about that on Friday night, but he's a very different hitter than he used to be.
That's just kind of a slap right there. It's something that Todd is. That's good hitting. That was not. It was on the outside corner. It was almost picked it up off the ground. But he didn't really seem like he drove into that pitch.
Here's Matt Holliday, who had his defensive problems last night, but has been swinging the bat very well.
You know, Keith, they have that phrase, right? Punch and Judy kind of hitter. Todd Helton is certainly not a punch and Judy kind of hitter, but that was a kind of a punch and Judy kind of swing.
Yes.
Well, his numbers: 12 homers, 59 RBIs. Those are not Todd Helton numbers. And the breaking ball has Holliday waving, 0-2.
Well, nice pitch from El Duque. What you like to see in El Duque is late movement. He has a breaking ball that will break out of his hand, but you want that movement to be late. As it gets closer to the strike zone, then it changes lanes.
Wouldn't chase that slider. 1-2.
Well, if he fished once, go back out there again, 0-2, see if he'll fish again. He can do any one of two things here. He's ahead in the count. He can go back. He can go inside if he wants, or come back with another breaking ball.
One, two to Holiday. Struck him out. And El Duque hangs up a 0 in the opening inning. A very positive sign early for Orlando Hernandez, and the Mets will come to bat against Jason Jennings. '28-year-old Jason Jennings on the mound for the Rockies this afternoon.
Leading off for the Mets.
And here's the Mets lineup, brought to you by Nissan and your local Nissan dealers. Lastings Millage moved up to the 2-hole for only the second time, coming off his 3-for-3 night, punctuated by a home run. Day off for Paul El Duque, day game after a night game. That's standard. So Mike DeFelice catches, and Valentine's still out, so Woodward plays second.
Forget about the record. Jason Jennings is one of the best pitchers in the National League. Throws that bowling ball kind of sinker. Usually keeps his pitch count down. Has a couple of shutouts this year. Just they have not scored runs for him.
Jose Reyes leads off and watches outside. Jennings, over his last 15 starts, has a 2.24 ERA, and he's 5-4. That's his year. And Reyes launches one in the air foul down the right field line, and that'll settle in the seat. So 1-1.
Well, the Rockies defense brought to you by Audi. You can see the 2 errors last night. That was just they were fortunate just to have 2 errors in that 6th inning. And that really the Mets took advantage of their defense. As you see, their defensive setup for today's game.
Oh, and that's right off Jennings. Karams to Atkins, who throws out Reyes. But how is Jennings?
I think it hit his glove.
Well, the trainer's on his way out. Clint Hurdle, the manager, or Bob Apodaca, the pitching coach, is going to follow him.
Let's see. We'll find out right now. Oh, that got him on the inner thigh.
Inner thigh. Well, he's got very big, strong legs, and they may have served him well right there.
It's above the knee, so
he's going to be fine. That's a stinger. That's one of those that gets you, it stings you. It's going to hurt for a while, but that should not affect his pitching at all.
This does hurt, though.
Oh no, it does. It's just like being hit as a hitter from a pitcher when someone nails you.
That's the inner thigh is a soft spot too. A lot of flesh in there that ball to sink into.
And how hard must you get hit to get the kind of carom so that Atkins could still throw out Jose Reyes of all people?
That's a very good point. You can see, look at his lower body. He is a big young man. Jesus, big legs.
He says, I'm not fat. I just have a big lower body. And he says that's where his power comes from.
Looks like Sid's legs almost.
Yeah, well, he's. I was thinking of Bruce Perenni in the middle 80s. He was a big guy with big legs.
And of course, Jennings also wearing those very baggy pants over those big legs. And he pronounces himself fit to continue. So a scare for Clint Hurdle and the Rockies. On the first batter Jennings faces, he takes a hit and keeps on ticking.
Well, it'll be curious to see how they pitch Millage today. Now, if you remember, he got 2 hits to right field. He's been having trouble with the outside pitch, and there he's having trouble getting his donut off there. 2 base hits to opposite field yesterday on pitches away. But let's remember, it was a left-hand pitcher. The 2 hits. The home run was off a right-hand pitcher, and that was a mistake over the middle and up that he crushed.
That was his last time up in the 8th inning last night.
I would think, Ronnie, if I'm a right-hand pitcher with Millage not hitting the outside pitch, I would still pitch him away, show him in, and still go away, and see it, prove it to me that you're going to do that off a right-hander.
Yes.
Carlos Beltran on deck. And the slider from Jennings, 1-2.
Pretty good one.
Willie Randolph was asked this morning if Millage hitting second, as you look at the slider, was a reward for last night, and Willie said, no, I needed a second hitter. He does not dole out praise easily, and that's a great thing. He's very tough.
So he's opposite of Sparky Anderson in his day, Sparky would drop the Hall of Fame bomb on a rookie, a 22-year-old.
Chris Patero.
Sparky had a line a mile long, let me tell you. Every day he came to the park, he had a line of baloney. But Willie is a taskmaster. He is tough love. I love it.
If he praises you, you've deserved it. Millage pulls a foul.
Andy Chavez got a little praise this week from Willie. He said that he was his favorite player because of the way, I think that, he really has gone, there's Andy, leaps and bounds. Because he had the reputation when he was traded from Washington to Philadelphia that he would not hit the ball on the ground, that he would not bunt for base hits, that he was not a team player, that he tried to hit for home runs. Just the opposite now.
Millage toward the right field line, hop, and he runs it down 2 away. But interestingly enough, for all the love that Willie gave Chavez, here we are, right-hand pitcher on the mound today, and Andy's not in the lineup.
That is a reflection of the lead they have. Lineups sometimes are dictated by that because they want to see Millage, and they want to. I think they want to see Millage as many times as they can.
But playing Michael Tucker over Andy Chavez today?
It's interesting what's going on right now. It's very interesting.
Trying to figure out what they've got.
It's hard to figure. You're right. You're right.
Well, I think that's the key, is that it's hard to figure. You don't know what you have, so play Millage, play Tucker, and let them show you what they can do for this team and if they're going to be important parts of this team in late September, October.
Home run cut by Beltran, and it's 1-1.
Well, it's obvious that the last outfielder on this ball club is Lede. Lede is not getting any starts. He's been on the bench and just relegated to pinch hitting.
And he's had very little success when he has played. It's 1 for 13 since joining the Mets. And, we've still got 11 days for a player to join the organization to be eligible for postseason play, and you have to believe that Omar is still looking for outfielders.
I think he's still looking for outfielders, but also until you get an outfielder, you have to say, what do we have on our team? And that's why Millage, that's why Tucker are getting the playing time.
And Jennings strikes out Beltran to end the inning, so Jennings, after taking a hit, gets the next 2 hitters, strikes out Beltran with a slider. Second inning, Garrett Atkins leads off against El Duque. Atkins has homered in each of the first 2 games of this series, and he takes ball 1. Atkins with 14 RBIs in his last 9 games, so he's been hot. Last night, Dave Williams left the game with leg cramps in the 6th inning. Atkins was the first man up against the reliever Roberto Hernandez, and he greeted him with a 3-run homer. And the curveball for a strike, 2-1.
Well, that's what makes you, hard to hit. 2-0, hitter expecting a fastball. What does he do? A little get me over curveball. Good pitch.
And Atkins fouls off the next one, 2-2. Brad Hopp waiting on deck. Then your Torrealba here in the second for the Rockies, as Atkins hits a shot foul into the mezzanine. He cranked that.
Well, the Audi Met defense, as you see there, 14 errors since the All-Star break. That is second fewest in Major League Baseball. That's a very nice sign right there. Mets have played solid defense all year.
And the breaking ball hit to short. Reyes double clutches, but easily throws out Atkins, 1 away.
We're just going to show you a routine ground ball for you kids out there. Just watch him field. Look at the 2 hands in front of the ball. Look how he cradles the ball into his body as the ball comes into his glove. He's just really become, absolutely. I've said it. I say it every day, but, he deserves it. It's to be pointed out. He's solid. It's a very solid shortstop. Just love his play at shortstop.
And you love the fact that a guy with great tools like Reyes, who's obviously got the speed and he's got the arm, also has the perfect fundamentals.
Absolutely.
Well, what do you look for in an infielder, Keith? You want a guy who has soft hands. That's one of the key for a shortstop, second baseman, third baseman. And Reyes really, he talked about that cradling, just really treats it almost like it's an egg and just makes sure he cradles it in with those soft hands.
And wearing the sunglasses today, not on the cap.
Do you think he was out celebrating after the game with us? I doubt it.
I don't know. You'll have to tell me that.
No, he wasn't.
3-1.
I tell you what, always on day games when you had guys coming to the ballpark with bad helmets from nights out, they wore the sunglasses out there, trust me.
3-1 to Brad Hopp, and he pulls one off the glove of Delgado, and Hopp will reach safely. A hot shot, and Delgado couldn't quite get it in the webbing. It's a hit for Hopp, the second hit of the game for the Rockies.
Well, it's the bullet down the line, just gets a glove on it, just out of his reach, prevents the double. That was an automatic stand-up double. So, and look at that. Look at the cock like Darryl Strawberry there. The front leg, the lift of the front leg.
Although
a little bit too quick.
That's a lot of movement, isn't it, for a hitter? That's the bat's moving, the legs moving. That's a lot of movement for a hitter.
It's got to be hard to maintain, you would think.
Yes.
Here's your Villarreal, who's caught all 3 games of this series, and he pops it up. DeFelice coming back for a look, but it's in the crowd. Brad Hopp had been 0 for 13 before that base hit. Torrealba's done well. He's taken over as the #1 catcher for this Rockies team. They had Miguel Ojeda earlier in the year. They traded him to Texas. Danny Ardoin is the backup now. They had Eli Marrero early in the season before he got traded to the Mets. By the way, Kaz Matsui is healthy and playing at Colorado Springs, and the Rockies are ready to call him up. In fact, they say they may call him up this week. In fact, they might have called him up this weekend, but they didn't want him to have to come here to Shea Stadium.
Yeah, I talked to Jamie Quirk, who's one of the coaches for the Colorado Rockies. Matsui will be with the team, as you see Clint Hurdle. And you're right, Gary. They just didn't want the distraction and the press that he would have to deal with here. But they want him to be a part of their future.
Well, right now they've got Jamie Carroll playing second base, who's a nice player, but might be better suited to be a backup.
Well, Jamie Carroll is one of those guys that if he's playing every day, he takes away from your bench. You like to have him on the bench.
Popped up to shallow right, and Millage in. That's the second out. So 2 away. Hopp still at first. And if you love Raymond, listen up. Starting tomorrow, you're going to get 2 Rays in a row. That's a full hour of family fun every weeknight between 7 and 8. Everybody loves Raymond. Weeknights at 7 and 7:30 starting tomorrow on the WB 11.
You know, that '86 team, first game of the World Series, had all my family coming in. I got a couple of those futons that you need. You put in the living room, people can sleep on. You know who delivered it? Ray Romano. That was his job at that time, and he told me that I gave him a good tip. Thank God I gave him a good tip.
Here's Clint Barmas, and he takes the breaking ball away. Now, he's amended that story over the years, hasn't he? Because
he changed it to Game 6, which is not true. By Game 6, I would have certainly had the futons in there because my family would have been sleeping on the floor. But that's all right.
Now,
still a good story.
When you saw him on TV years later, did you have any idea that he was your futon guy?
No idea until the 2000 World Series, Subway Series. I came to Shea to watch the games. I got a program, opened the back, and they had all the celebrities tell their stories of growing up with the Mets or the Yankees, this or that, and that was Ray Romano's story.
How are the futons? They work okay?
I don't know. I didn't sleep on them. I put my parents on them. I had my own bed.
Barmas fouls it off, and it's 1-2. Clint Barmas hitting just .235, but he made an ungodly play in the hole last night to throw out Chris Woodward in the second inning. The guy who had been known more for his bat than for his glove when he came up last year. El Duque ahead of him 1-2. And Hopp is back.
You know, it's interesting you say that, Gary. I was watching him in the field. He's very athletic out there. He does a lot of things. He has the ability to throw off the opposite leg. And that throw he made from the hole, you always picture Derek Jeter jumping in the air, Ray Ordonez sliding and making the throw, and Barmes threw across his body all the way to first.
He lunges and fouls it away. Well, he's been working very hard on his defense. Remember last year he got off to an unbelievable offensive start before he fell down a flight of stairs, fractured his clavicle, and that pretty much put an end to his season, although he did come back late in the year.
The deer meat story. Boy, baseball's littered with guys getting injured, and you never know if the stories are real or not real, right? Wade Boggs with the cowboy boots.
Cowboy boots, that's right. Sammy Sosa coughing. Full of ribcage muscle. Keith is skeptical. You back with us now, big guy?
I'm staying quiet for those 3 outs. I'll come back to you next inning.
1-2 to Barmes. Two and two. The pitcher Jennings is on deck. And as the Mets learned very quickly when Jennings first came up, he is no automatic out. Jason Jennings made his big league debut here 5 years ago, and in his first start pitched a complete game shutout and hit a home run. Off the fists and foul back.
Gary, I call that a little league game. Those are the kind of games you have in little league where you strike out 10, you hit a home run, you go 4 for 4.
And you play shortstop the next day.
It's always like those games when a pitcher gets up and he's 2 for 2. You know you're going to lose that game. If it's the opposing pitcher, he's a starter, it's going to be his day.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, last night was a huge night for pitchers hitting in the National League. Runner goes, and Barmes fouls it away. You had Cole Hamels driving in a couple of runs for the Phillies. Dave Bush driving in 2 runs for Milwaukee. Greg Maddux with an RBI double for LA. Claudio Vargas a 2-run double for Arizona, all on the same night. Who needs a DH? 2-2 to Barmes. Struck him out. Fastball away. That's the best one El Duque's thrown today. His second strikeout as we remain scoreless.
Fidelity Investments presents a 20th anniversary.
We go to the home second inning here at Shea.
First baseman.
Check out the Mets' upcoming schedule, brought to you by ChevyOffers.com. The latest offers from Chevrolet. Off day tomorrow. After tomorrow, the Mets will only have 2 more off days the rest of the season. They got the Cardinals coming in for 3, and then the Phillies over the weekend. But if you're an everyday player, and the Mets, they have guys like Reyes and Wright playing every day, and you got 40 games to go, off day tomorrow, and then just 2 off days the rest of the way. Do you look at that and say, wow, that's a lot of games?
Well, I never looked at really that far in advance in the schedule. To be honest with you, you always know one thing. You said, you look at the schedule and you go, God, we got all these off days in April and early May. We don't need them then. We're strong. Where are they in July and August when we need them? Well, obviously the kids are out of school and they're great attendance days. And the reason why they have the off days, a lot of off days in April, is because it rains a lot. So Willie's going to spot some players.
Well, he has the luxury of the big lead, so he can do that. As Delgado drives one to center field, back goes Sullivan to the warning track near the wall. It's out of here! Home run number 29 for Carlos Delgado. And the Mets jump out to a 1-0 lead.
Well, just got behind Delgado, just trying to throw a fastball for a strike. Torrealba wanted that pitch in. It came back over the strike zone. That's a powerful man. Be able to hit that ball on the line in center field like that, Keith.
Yeah, and he kept his shoulder in right there, and you see the eyes on the ball, and that's a good sign. That's the second home run now in this week to dead center field. And that is a good sign that Carlos Delgado is coming out of it. He's been pulling off a little bit. You don't hit a ball that far dead central by pulling off the ball.
Career home run number 398 for Carlos Delgado as he closes in on a milestone. 398 ties him for 44th place all time with Dale Murphy. And moving up. And David Wright smacks one to short. Barmer's playing it off to the side. Not recommended. One away. What a difference the way Barmer's played that ball compared to Reyes.
Well, that's just lazy footwork, and we used to call it Olay. Ball hit hard, you Olay it, and that's the Olay right there. You had plenty of time to get in front of that ball. But as we said earlier, the infields today are just, I hardly see a bad hop anymore. The grounds crews are really, they've always done a good job here at Shea, but throughout the National League.
Here's Michael Tucker. He fouls one away. Well, Delgado now over the last 4 games, 7 for 11 with 3 home runs.
That's a good sign. He's on his way. All good hitters, when they break out into a hot streak.
0-2 to Tucker, who's making his 7th start.
I think it's interesting the way you say it too, Keith. He's on his way. Doesn't mean he's out. He's on his way. Even though he's 7 for 11, you need a little more of that until you're completely out of it.
Exactly. I remember one time, one slump, I was in a long slump, and Marty Noble would come to me when I started getting my hits, and he'd go, "Are you out of it yet?" And I go, "I'm not out of it. I feel better." And then finally I'd get a 3 for 4, and I go, and he'd come in, and I go, "Okay, I'm out of it.
I'm sizzling."
Well, and we saw it with Delgado as Tucker goes down. 2nd strikeout for Jennings. You know, he had a couple of months where he was struggling. He had a good week. This was about 3-4 weeks ago, and then he went right back into it again.
Right, and I thought when he broke out that prolonged slump he had earlier in the year, that when he did break out, he was going to go on to a tear, and he did not. He went right back into another one, as you said, Gary, which was a bit of a surprise. But you know, every season's unique and different. You got to fight your way through it.
Here's Chris Woodward, and he takes ball 1. But, you know, here we are with a quarter of the season to play. He's got 29 home runs. So for whatever struggles Delgado has had, he's had himself a pretty good year. 29 homers, 80 RBIs with 39 games to play. To right field, and Brad Hopp's got it. And that retires the side. This gave the Mets the lead. The first run of the game brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts. America runs on Dunkin'. Number 29 for Delgado. 1-0 New York. El Duque now with the 1-0 lead. Jason Jennings leads off the 3rd and takes curveball for a strike. Jennings, a lifetime .224 hitter, but has struggled at the plate this year. And you sometimes see it with pitchers, Ron. Guys who come up and are good hitters and sometimes lose their skills over the course of their career.
Well, they lose their skills because they don't work on their skills because you're not allowed to. You know, the hitters get any of the batting practice time. But secondly, everyone identifies you as a hitter straight away. And if they identify you as a good hitting pitcher, you no longer see that fastball when you think you're going to get it.
And he got a first pitch curveball from El Duque, and now he rolls out to Delgado, and that's the first down. Well, officially, ground has not been broken on the new stadium out beyond center field, but there's still plenty of dirt out there as they continue to pile drive those footings into the ground. Lots of heavy equipment. It's a kid's delight out there. You got tractors, you got bulldozers, you got dirt, pipes.
You know what's interesting?
They lined up those pipings, by the way. 2009
season is going to be the first, the unveiling of the stadium, right?
Right.
The 40th anniversary of the '69 Mets.
That's exactly right. Jamie Carroll takes ball 1. Carroll fly to center his first time up. And the curveball from El Duque, and he looks very, very sharp right now.
He looks sharp. He's throwing all of his pitches for strikes. I like when El Duque also uses his fastball around the strike zone. You see him sometimes, he gets into the strike zone. I like when he goes up top.
And I think that there's a certain pride in El Duque He sucked it up for the team his last time out, knew it, but still had to be a little embarrassed at giving up 11 earned runs, and this figured to be a big day for him.
Boy, I tell you, I gave up 10 runs in Cincinnati one night in 2/3 of an inning. So it's hard to even call that a start because it ended it so quickly. But I remember after I was taken out, I put my running shorts on and went running around Riverfront. And you knew when the game was over because they would have the fireworks. And I said to myself, I'm going to run and walk, you know, once I got tired, whatever. But I'm not going back to the stadium until those fireworks go off because I just do not want to be in that ballpark because I embarrassed myself today.
And how'd you do your next time out?
A little shutout piece in Houston.
Ooh, Houston.
I love that stadium. Huge, great stadium for pitcher to pitch in.
2-2 to Carroll.
You know, another thing about El Duque, too, you're talking about him sucking up those innings and giving those 11 runs. He never complained, neither.
Nope.
Over my career, a lot of pitchers complain. He's a pro.
Well, he completely understood what the situation was. Pedro had pitched just 1 inning the night before because of the calf injury. So the bullpen had to be stretched. And rather than come out after 2 innings, as he easily could have done, he stuck around. Popped up by Carroll. Delgado coming in toward the mound. 2 out. Here the pop-up.
Well, a lot of part of defense is communication. And he had fun with that too.
You know, it's a great play by Delgado, and you always have to yell out. But a pitcher can really help in those situations. If the third baseman or first baseman are encroaching, a pitcher can really help by saying, I remember when the ball would be up, 9 times out of 10, I'm calling your name because you had the best glove. But you would say, Max, 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 Max. Say it over and over to make sure that Ray Knight or Howard Johnson wouldn't bump into you.
Or Kid. Kid liked to get that line and get a pop-up.
Loved it.
Corey Sullivan takes the curveball for a strike, 1-1. Sullivan flying to left his first time up. He is having a birthday today, his 27th. Back-to-back birthdays in that Rockies lineup today, Sullivan and Hilton.
Ronnie's birthday yesterday?
Yeah. Well, birthdays aren't like they used to be anyway, but
what do you know?
46 candles yesterday. But very funny. I mean, didn't really celebrate it because the celebration last night, that was tantamount, paramount to what happened. So tonight we're going to celebrate the birthday with my children. And
struck him out. Well, Duque at his sharpest gets Sullivan with the curveball for his 3rd strikeout. 1-2-3 inning for El Duque, and he's looking fine. 1-0 New York. We go to the bottom of the 3rd here at Shea. Delgado talking to Sandy Alomar after the last half inning.
Carlos is very interactive. He's in a very quiet way. He's involved. I like his approach to the game.
Plays the game with a lot of flair, doesn't he? I mean, exciting to watch him and his interaction with people on the bench, coaches, everyone. He has I don't know. It's a
very calming effect, I would think. He's not the real rah-rah type. He's very quiet and quiet leadership.
Dalai Lama-like.
Very good. Mike DeFelice swings through the fastball, 1-2. DeFelice 1 for 11. Ramon Castro is very close to being able to return from the disabled list. Ramon's been out for about 3 weeks now. He played in the Gulf Coast League yesterday. He's supposed to play for Brooklyn today and tomorrow, and he might be ready to return as early as Tuesday. So DeFelice may be playing his last game for a while, if indeed Castro is ready to return.
There's a little interaction with manager and his star shortstop.
You don't get that many in-game smiles from Willie.
You're right.
2-2 to DeFelice, but I have to say that In his interactions with the media over the last few weeks, Willie has become much looser, much more jocular, much more in a mood to give and take and joke around. And it's really refreshing to see for him. I think he's getting more and more comfortable by the day. As Carroll throws out deep, Felice one away. And I don't know if that has to do with having a big lead or just being more used to being the guy in charge, but he's been a lot of fun to be around lately.
Well, if you know Willie as a player, and I know Willie as a player, he's one of the most gregarious people you'll be around. He's a really solid guy, fun to be around, likes to make his jokes. But I think that, boy, when you're the CEO of the Mets, right? I mean, that's what you are.
Public organization.
You got to play your cards close to the vest. I mean, that's just how it is.
El Duque takes 1-1, but there's a way to do that and still be open and loose and joking. And I think nobody has personified that in this town better than Joe Torre, who Willie obviously was around for a long, long time. And El Duque rips a base hit. And the Mets have their second hit of the game. And El Duque, who is hitting 200 for the year, now has his 8th hit of the season.
Well, listen, a lot of pitchers are from this school of hitting. Swing hard in case you make contact. And that was a good swing by Orlando Hernandez. Very level. Got a fastball up in the strike zone.
Belt tie, and that's right. That's a beautiful swing. Looks like an everyday player.
Yeah.
Look at that. Sweet. Nice stroke. And that's a rare mistake by Jennings. The other one was the home run to Delgado last inning.
That's what happens when you line up your piping.
You talked about the pitchers. You know it's their day when they get a couple of hits and they're pitching well. I remember one night here against Atlanta, Steve Avery got 4 hits off. Oh,
remember that one well.
Oy vey.
1-1 to Reyes. Well, I mean, a pitcher's already had a good day if he gets 4 at bats, right?
You know you're still in the game, though, if you're in there to give a pitcher 4 at bats and 4 hits.
It's not bad either. Helton playing behind El Duque, figuring he's not going to run. Of course, we've already seen Franco steal, what, 5 bases this year. And he's probably older than El Duque. By the way, that 48th birthday for Franco is creeping up. It's only 3 days away now. Well, they're going to have a big celebration for him here. Who knows how old he is. And Reyes strikes out. Can't take first base because it's occupied. So that's the second out of the inning. 3rd strikeout for Jennings.
Boy, Jennings has got a sweet slider. His bottom drops out, huh?
You know, it goes straight down. No tilt on it. It's a straight down slider.
Today's Pitcher's High Speed brought to you by Verizon Online DSL, now at a great low price. Nobody breaking the radar gun, but both pitching very effectively.
Well, I was telling you, Gary, before, if you're 28 years old, Jason Jennings, gave me anyone 28 or younger to start a staff with, he's on one of those 5 guys. That's how much I like him.
Wow.
I mean, Liriano, Santana, of course, I like those guys. Jennings is one of those guys that eats up innings. He makes his starts. He doesn't get hurt.
Brandon Webb, he on that staff?
Well, he's
or is he on the bubble?
He's on the bubble because he's gotten hurt this year and he's missed a couple of starts. I don't know. I'm a big fan of guys that make their starts every year. 35 starts, 35, because it helps the entire team, helps the bullpen, and it takes a lot of headache away from the manager.
Now, last year Jennings didn't. He missed the last couple of months, but that's because he broke his finger trying to break up a double play. Too much offense.
I saw the play. It was in Washington, and he tried to take out the second baseman. He prides himself on being an athlete when he's at bat and on the bases, and those are one of the things he's going to probably try to cut down on in the future.
Well, he hasn't been on the bases much lately. Maybe that's an improvement. Millage fouls it away, 1-2.
You notice Millage putting his bat in his shoulder? Have we noticed that before? Is he resting his bat on his shoulder? Doing something different? He's always had that wiggle. It's almost like it's resting on his shoulder. That's something different?
It is something different.
I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, absolutely is something different.
He's
Yeah, it's definitely a change.
It's a big change.
He's not doing the Gary Sheffield waggle the way he was before.
He does it earlier, and then he rests it on his I wonder what the thought process is there. Something he's worked with Rick Down. I have to look into that. There it is.
And he lines one into right center for a base hit. El Duque trying to go first to third. Sullivan's throw to third base, not in time, and Millage moves up behind the plate. Well, outstanding base running by the Mets, and Sullivan allowing Millage to go to second.
Well, Millage right here, another ball away, going right with it. Soft liner to center field. There's the bat on the shoulder. He's working really hard on going the other way. And you can see he's trying to stay in. Hits that ball where it's pitched. Corey Sullivan here makes a big boo-boo. We see so many times. Probably the biggest mistake that can possibly happen in the course of a game, and happens the most, is outfielders overthrowing cutoff men for runners like Millage who are alert, take advantage of.
Especially with 2 out. Right? You let that guy go to third. Don't let the second runner go to second.
Yes, keep that force in play. You're helping your pitcher get out of the inning.
So now 2 in scoring position for Beltran, who struck out his first time up. Beltran drove in his 100th run last night. 6th time in his career he's done that. And he takes a strike.
Keith, why does that happen with outfielders?
I don't
become assist happy, or
I don't understand. Number one, if they've got a good arm, it's always the guys with the good arms or above average arms that want to show it off.
Yeah,
they're the ones that are the biggest culprits.
To right field, and Brad Hopp is there. And so Jennings able to work out of the jam as he gets Beltran to fly out to end the inning. 2 hits and 2 left. Still 1-0 New York. New York Mets baseball is brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts. America runs on Dunkin'. Time for our Dodge trivia question. The Mets have won 7 straight home games, including the first 2 of this series. What's the Mets record for consecutive home wins? Gentlemen, might you have been involved?
It's a good chance.
We'll return to that later, as Todd Helton leads off in the 4th inning against El Duque, who's working with a 1-0 lead.
Sorry, I was having a chuckle. They had on the big screen Roger McDowell performing his best work. Some hot foots for Bill Robinson and Bob Ojeda. Boy, Roger was great on that team, wasn't he?
It's too bad he didn't make it last night.
Well, he was working.
Yes.
Just like you guys. 1-1 to Helton. He and Lee Mazzilli, both active big league coaches, were not able to be in attendance.
You know, we were talking a little last night about guys. I saw Rivera's first start, Mariano Rivera against the Oakland A's, and
Helton gets ahead of another one and pulls it foul.
Well, Roger McDowell was another guy that the Mets tried in '84 to use as a starter, and it just didn't work out. Around the 4th or 5th inning, his stuff would kind of dissipate. He'd be done. But boy, for 2 innings, about as good as they got.
And Helton pulls another one foul. That's 3 in a row. Helton has a habit of doing this, fouling off pitches with 2 strikes. In fact, he's done it more than anybody else in the majors this year. And he takes the fastball just off the corner, 2-2.
Well, all the good hitters, the good line drive hitters that are tough to strike out, are always going to be in that category. They're going to foul off those pitches with 2 strikes.
And a breaking ball in there for a call, strike 3. That's 4 strikeouts for El Duque.
Well, it's almost like El Duque saying, you know, I want to send a message out here. I'm not done. That game was an aberration. And here I am back in the groove. That's a beautiful backdoor slider run.
And you made a great point that he did not say anything, because a lot of pitchers cannot hold their tongue. They will, in their post-game talk, will say, well, you know, I took one for the team. He didn't say any of that stuff. He said, hey, listen, I went out there. I gave up a lot of runs. That happened. I didn't have my stuff. I'll get him next time. Simple as that.
Matt Holliday hits it to center field. Right there is Beltran. And there are 2 away. So 2 out and nobody on. El Duque has retired 7 in a row. And this season, Tri-State Hyundai dealers and the WB11 team up to help kids strike out cancer. Every strikeout recorded by a Met pitcher will add $100 to the Hope and Heroes Children's Cancer Fund. If you'd like to help, please call 212-305-1420 for more information. 2 out. Garrett Atkins, who grounded to short his first time up. And let's not ignore this either. The Mets just got some potentially devastating news about one of their ace pitchers.
Yeah.
It's awfully important for the other guys in this rotation to go out and do what El Duque is doing so far today.
And don't forget that El Duque is another one of those guys in the 40-plus club. And he's saying, I'm not through.
He's also saying he's not 40.
Yes. Very good.
36 officially.
Hey, competition's a good thing. Traxel's pitched wonderfully.
John Maine has been outstanding. Dave Williams came up and gave them a nice start last night, and he'll get another one at least.
Hey, in the course of a season, you're going to have injuries. Some teams more than others, and the teams that get through it, they have guys that come in and pick up the slack.
Off the end of the bat to second. Woodward in, makes the flip, and he gets Atkins side retired. That's 8 in a row retired by El Duque. Woodward with the backhand flip. 1-0 New York. Checking out the Lexus line score. The Mets with the 1-0 lead on a Carlos Delgado home run is 29th. That's been all the scoring against Jason Jennings. El Duque has done the rest. And the Mets with the lead as Delgado comes up for his second at bat. 398 home runs in his career. Now tied for 44th place with Dale Murphy, 2-time MVP.
His next home run will put him on a tie with Andres Galarraga and Al Kaline.
You remember Galarraga came to the Mets in spring training hoping to get to 400, but retired 1 short. As you look at the home run for Delgado.
And that's very promising to him to hit a home run to center field. That means he's staying in, and that means he's coming back and getting back in a groove. And there's the shoulder in. He's hitting the ball much more up at the plate right now. He's got that power uppercut swing. And he's your classic cleanup hitter.
And he lays off the slider. 2-2. Let's check in with Chris Cotter. Chris?
Well, guys, you notice the Rockies in the shifts, and you mentioned Jamie Carroll and how great of a year he's having offensively. Well, he also leads National League second baseman in fielding percentage. He's only made 3 errors in almost 500 chances, and 2 of those errors were while in the shift for Barry Bonds. So keep that in mind whenever Delgado comes up to bat.
The other thing about Carroll is he turns the double play about as well as anybody.
He's textbook. I mean, if you wanted your son or your daughter to learn how to play baseball correctly, just watch Jamie Carroll all day, from taking his batting practice to his fielding.
Elton handles this one himself, and Delgado retired 1 away. Well, if you missed the news earlier today, Tom Glavine is on the shelf for the moment for the Mets. They're not quite sure the extent of his problem, but he came out of his last start feeling coldness in the ring finger on his pitching hand. Now, he's lived with coldness in his index and middle fingers for years. That's called Raynaud's syndrome. First felt it in 1990 while with the Braves, and has managed it for all that time. But in his last start, he felt coldness in the ring finger, and that was alarming to him, and he mentioned it to the trainers. David Wright pops it up, and Sullivan has it for the second out. And the Mets are not yet sure exactly the extent of the problem, and they're going to try and figure that out over the next few days. Omar Minaya, the Mets GM, talked to the media before the game today about Glavine's situation.
They just don't really know what it is. I mean, I will tell you, he's going to be, they have an idea, but in the next 2 or 3 days, they're going to be given different tests. Tomorrow and what's tomorrow? Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, there'll be tests being given to him. I am hopeful that there is going to be a Tommy, first of all. I try to think, I see Tommy being in this club, hopefully, through September, and hopefully we get in the playoff and go beyond.
And I think the bottom line is right now that nobody knows. I mean, Glavine, talking to him earlier today, he says he feels well enough to pitch right now. That's not really the issue.
Yeah, it's not the issue, but you know, if the doctors saw something in the ultrasound, in the MRI that was alarming, that they need to do an angiogram, which is a deeper test. Test is going to reveal more, and then after that they'll see. But like you said, Tom feels close to 100%. He certainly has the coldness in his ring finger. He said is not as bad as it was before, but a dangerous thing nonetheless.
Well, it's all about an artery in his shoulder. That's what they're concerned about. As you look at Glavine's recent numbers, they don't know if it's a blood clot. They don't know if it's a pinched artery. It may be that he can take medicine. It'll be better in a week or two, or it could be that he'll need season-ending surgery. They just don't know. But for the moment, the Mets have to figure they're going to be out without Glavine for some period of time.
Well, you just mentioned those two possibilities. That's serious stuff. You have to go in there and make sure. You've got a person's livelihood and his health is at stake here, so you want to make sure you get it right.
And Tucker draws a walk, and that's the first one given up by Jennings. I mean, the interesting thing about it is you think of blood clot and you think of something incredibly serious, but pitchers have worked around that. I mean, Roberto Hernandez had that a few years ago, and talking to Bert before the game, he talked about you take blood thinners and sometimes it just dissolves it and it goes away.
Kip Wells had that problem also. It's just after watching Dave Williams pitch yesterday, which was the 12th starting pitcher for the Mets, starting pitching has just been so topsy-turvy all year long for the Mets.
And you know, you go back to the first 2-3 months of the season when Martinez and Glavine were lights out every start, and they were struggling in the rest of the rotation, but things have kind of changed since then. I mean, Pedro's now on the disabled list for the second time. Glavine has not been winning with regularity over the last month and a half, and you've had other guys step up and carry a lot more of the load.
El Duque today. John Maine.
On one side of the coin, you've got opportunity. You see
Traxel with 12 wins. Dave Williams made that start last night. 1-2 to Woodward.
Opportunity knocks. When people go down, and it creates an opportunity for younger. It's always a younger player, and certainly John Maine has made the most of it. He's pitched wonderfully for the Mets.
Tucker at first and 2 out as the Mets bat in the bottom of the 4th. Well, that's the overall record for the Mets starting pitchers. And it gives you an idea how good the bullpen's been, because the Mets overall are #1 in the league in ERA. The bullpen's just been outstanding and really has not missed much of a beat since Duaner Sanchez went down, and that you couldn't have predicted.
Well, Heilman has certainly stepped into that role. He took over that role. It was shared, and actually Heilman kind of lost it there in the middle. It was mainly Sanchez, and as you said, since the injury, it's put on Heilman, and he has just been just about perfect.
Well, there's been only one 8th inning in which the Mets have given up runs since Sanchez went down, and that's what the relievers have done. #1 in the league, and that's just an outstanding season for that group.
And in an era where relief pitching is much more important because starters don't go deeper into the games like they used to.
And when you talk about the starters and the possibility of losing Glavine, the fact is there are some intriguing possibilities now on the horizon. The possible return of Brian Bannister and Oliver Perez, who you mentioned, Ronnie, pitched a lights-out game last night for Norfolk.
Well, Perez needed to get out of Pittsburgh. I mean, what happens when you're a young player and you have some immediate success, which he did, but then he got into a bad place, and when you pitch for a bad team, you can get a bad record, and when you get a bad record as a young pitcher, sometimes you start to lose your confidence.
Well, Perez is a pitcher of enormous talent and pitched a great game last night. 7 innings, 1 hit, 11 strikeouts. Bannister pitched a great game his last time out at Norfolk, so that the possibilities are there. Barmes throws to second for the force. That ends the inning, and so Jason Jennings works around a 2-out walk. The Mets looking for their 8th straight Shea Stadium win. Still have a 1-0 lead. Well, let's answer our Dodge trivia question for today. The Mets have won 7 straight home games. What is the Mets record for consecutive home wins? The answer, 11. 4 different times.
Wow, 69?
69 and 86, among others. And Brad Hopp fouls the first one off. Hopp has one of the 2 hits off El Duque today.
That 90s season, that was the year I went to Cleveland, my first year out, and Magadan took over at first base. The Mets had a good year. What happened that year? You guys just fell apart in the end?
Yeah, and it was Darrell's last year, and things got a little strange at the end with that.
Yeah, I had an indifferent year. I think I was 14 and 14 or something that year. I did 2 good games, 1 bad game. You know, it was not a great year. I tend to forget those years. The bad years I tend to forget. I try to forget.
So I was in Cleveland. I didn't get up any news around the country. You know, it was just there was nothing much.
It was like being in Vladivostok.
you were at the Mistake by the Lake.
2-2 to Hopp. Well, you remember it wasn't initially Magadan who took your job. They brought in Mike Marshall, and then Magadan took the job away from him.
I didn't know that.
It was a June series in Chicago, and it's a doubleheader in a single game. I think the Mets won 19-8, 15-10, and 9-6, and Magadan had something like 12 hits in the 3 games and took over the job. And he wound up 3rd in the National League in batting.
Right. He had a good year.
328.
Mets could hit.
Toward the gap in right center. That's a base hit for Hopp. Beltran over to cut it off. And Hopp has his 2nd hit. First time in the game the Rockies have had the leadoff man on against El Duque.
Well, the old backdoor slider off speed. Good pitch. Keeps his hands back. Let's go with one hand. That's good hitting.
It's like a 2-handed backhand in tennis right there. It served out to center.
So Hopp, who had been in an 0 for 13 skid coming into the game, is 2 for 2 today. And here's Torrealba.
You know, you're talking about Dave Magadan. Great guy, great hitter. Used to drive me cuckoo in spring training. When the pitchers are getting their work in, they bring the hitters in, he would not swing at a ball an inch off the outside corner. So you'd be standing out there throwing. You take pitch after pitch after pitch.
You're right.
Come on, Mags, put it in play, brother.
He was an automatic 3-2 count every at bat.
He was very methodical. Let's just put it that way. Had a great eye at the plate.
Had an incredible college career at Alabama. Broke every record. He did about 500 during his college career. And he played for 17 years. Over the bag and down the line. A base hit for Torrealba. Hopp will go to 3rd. Chased down by Tucker. Torrealba into 2nd. And the Rockies have runners at 2nd and 3rd and nobody out. Not hit hard, but placed perfectly by Torrealba for a double.
Well, they got jammed here. It's not hit hard at all. David got a little bit of a late break there. And let's see the pitch. I think it's a fastball in. Yes, it is. Runs in and jams him, but he stayed level. And got the hands through right down the line.
So the Rockies threatening, down 1-0. The 8 and 9 hitters coming up. Barmes and Jennings. Barmes struck out his first time. Mets will concede the tying run on a ground ball to a middle infielder. And El Duque goes hard away, 0-1.
Just got to wonder what the approach is right there. You know, you got a pitch away. You want to get something out over the plate to go the other way, hit it on the ground, or obviously get a base hit. But if you're not going to succeed with a base hit, you'll want to at least advance both runners. And there's a pitch to drive that way. And guy taking a home run swing.
Yeah.
And an 8th hitter. I mean, shorten up.
You get the impression, though, sometimes with 8 hitters, they just get over aggressive because they figure if they don't do it, nobody behind them will.
Yeah. That's a very good point. Or they can't hit. I'm not saying that about Barmes.
Well, that's why it's so tough, I think, to put a young hitter in that 8 spot. What could be tougher than, you know, having the discipline to hit in that spot?
Well, we're going to see we have Lasting Millers today, hitting 8th all season. When he started, this is the first time he's had an opportunity to hit in the 2nd position with Beltran protecting him.
Nice.
El Duque would love a strikeout here. He struck out 4 today. Make it 5. One away.
Great job by El Duque. Fastballs to get ahead and a slider off the strike zone. As a starting pitcher, you work so hard to throw strikes early so you can expand the strike zone late.
So 1 out, and here's Jason Jennings. And now the Mets will bring the middle infielders halfway in. Jennings grounded out to first his first trip. Second and third and 1 out.
So any ground ball in the infield that's hit halfway decent, the Mets are going to have a play at the plate here.
Not much speed on the bases for the Rockies with Hop at third and Torrealba at second. And the breaking ball, 1-1.
But as an infielder, Keith, you have to be 100% sure that you're going to get the guy at the plate on a ground ball as he swings through this curveball from El Duque, because at this point in the game, an out is just as important, not making a mistake and throwing home and get the inning going.
On 1-1, Jennings hits one foul, and now El Duque poised for another strikeout to try and pin those runners. If you're the runners in this situation, they get second and third and 1 out. You got the leadoff hitter on deck. Are you inclined, if you're a manager, to send them on contact and make the infield make a throw?
That is a very, very good question, and that is a toss of the coin right now. Now, if you had a Jose Reyes at third base, you might be more inclined to let him go on contact.
1-2 to Jennings. Breaking ball misses. 2-2.
I think Ronnie made a good point here. It's just so much fun to watch El Duque, and you think of El Duque now. He's older in his career. You think of him as a breaking ball pitcher, a guy that uses his breaking ball to set up his fastball. But when he gets in trouble, he went after Barmes with 2 fastballs and gets ahead, then throws in the bad breaking ball. He's done the same thing with Jennings here, who's a good hitter. Fell behind with a fastball through a 1-0 curve, and then gets ahead of him now. The fastball. Now he's dictating this at bat.
2-2 to Jennings. Curveball misses, and it's 3-2.
There's so many times, Ronnie, when a pitcher has it all set up to make that pitch, and if he makes that pitch, the bat's over, and they don't make the pitch.
It's so frustrating, too, because the entire at bat was set up for that 2-2 pitch, that backdoor hook. If you make it, it's perfect. If you don't make it, now you're like, oh, I was supposed to make that. Now what do I do?
Now it's 3-2.
A walk would load the bases. Struck him out. Came right back with a breaking ball, and he gets Jennings looking. Back-to-back strikeouts, and the runners remain at second and third with 2 down.
Well, Jennings is shaking his head, but this is absolutely a strike. He threw the big one before, and this is the tiny little slider on the coming in the back door. And of course, even hitters take this pitch, but of course, pitcher has no chance.
Well, he's got him shaking his head now.
So El Duque 2/3 of the way home after a single and a double start of the inning. Now he's got to get through Jamie Carroll. Carroll 2 for 11 in this series. 1-0 New York, 5th inning. And a breaking ball in for a strike.
You know, Gary, we talked about it earlier. I like it, man. He actually got Lastings Millage to come in a little bit in right field. That is a key against Carroll. Carroll cannot drive the ball over your head in right field, so you got to make sure that you shorten up.
Hop at third, Torrealba at second, and 2 down. See the outfield playing shallow against Carroll. On the outside corner, 0-2.
Some paint right here, Ronnie.
Well, just a nice little tight slider, and the home plate umpire today, Mark Paulson, with a nice large pitcher's strike zone.
El Duque has him roaring and flushing. One and 2 to Carroll.
Give me that call.
And DeFelice wants to talk about it.
Well, we heard Mook last night when Mookie Wilson was here. Hearing a little Duke right now for El Duque.
We heard a lot of good chants last night. I was surprised to hear the Heap chant for Danny Heap last night. That was a little bit surprising. Guy, you know, was a bit player and got a lot of affection from the crowd.
And it was a nice round of applause for our good friend Dougie Sisk. I really appreciated that because Dougie went through some trying times, of course, here.
DeFelice playing some games back there with Carroll.
Boy, DeFelice has been great behind the plate. Perfect catcher to catch El Duque. A lot of movement. You see him patting the ground with the glove. Get it down. Giving a lot of instructions.
This will be El Duque's 95th pitch of the afternoon. He hasn't walked a batter, but he's struck out 6, and he's run a lot of deep counts. So it's led to a high pitch count here in the 5th.
What do you want?
Fouled away.
Boy, that pitcher-catcher thing is something special, isn't it?
Now, in a situation like that, does that bother you?
No, it doesn't bother me.
The catcher's not on the same page with you in a tight situation where you got to get an out?
In fact, I learned early in my career from Mel Stottlemyre, sometimes you get in these situations, you just shake off the catcher and over just to get the hitter frustrated.
Very good. Get him thinking.
Yep.
And you know Duque is going to call his own game anyway. Breaking ball misses. How about DeFelice making noise inside and then moving away?
But you don't want to make a habit of that. Tony Pena did that a lot with the Pirates and the Cardinals. Now you can do that all you want, but you got to all of a sudden tap it inside once in a while and stay in there.
It's like selling wolf tickets. Every once in a while, you got to make sure that you stay inside.
3-2 to Carroll.
And there he's staying inside.
Struck him out. A clinic by El Duque. Side retired.
Now is the best time ever to get a new Chrysler or Jeep vehicle. Get our employee price and get 0% financing or a cash allowance of up to $3,500 on most models. Get employee pricing plus on Town & Country, J.D. Power & Associates' highest-ranked van in initial quality. 300C, the most award-winning new car ever. The 5-star rated Grand Cherokee and Trail-rated Commander. Now with employee pricing, qualified returning Daimler Chrysler lessees can lease a Grand Cherokee Laredo for $260 a month and $999 down.
The backs of my legs sticking to the pleather. Hey, 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 hey.
Grab a refreshing iced coffee from Dunkin' Donuts and unstick yourself from the pleather. America runs on Dunkin'. Stop by Dunkin' Donuts and make your iced coffee a turbo ice with a shot of our real espresso.
Join us Friday, August 25th for Mets Hispanic Heritage Night, presented by Budweiser, when the Mets battle the Phillies. Legends of Salsa, Andy Montañez, Lalo Rodriguez, and Paquito Guzman headline the post-game concert. For tickets, visit Mets.com.
The Hyundai Challenge is on. We're out to prove our new Tucson is a better value than CR-V or RAV4. To start, J.D. Power & Associates just named the Hyundai Tucson highest-ranked compact multi-activity vehicle in initial quality. Tucson comes with America's best warranty. Take the Hyundai Challenge during the Hyundai Challenge Summer Clearance and take home an award-recognized Tucson. Get up to $1,500 cash back. Lease a new Tucson for just $199 a month at your local Hyundai dealer. Offer ends August 31st.
New York Mets baseball is brought to you by Hyundai. Take the Hyundai Challenge. Visit thehyundaichallenge.com. And by the Subway Play of the Day, a regular 6-inch sandwich for only $2.99. Subway, eat fresh.
Well, you know, sometimes when you are in between innings, you will talk to your catcher and try to go over the signs. And it's a pretty interesting moment here with Orlando Hernandez with Mike DeFelice. You're kind of telling him you were calling the right pitches, but you were so quick with your fingers that I couldn't get it. Just needed you to slow down a little bit, and that's pretty funny.
DeFelice hits the first pitch on the ground to Barmas. 1 pitch and 1 retired. The Mets going for the sweep of the Rockies. Lots of caffeine on a Sunday morning and a hard hit off Jason Jennings to get things started, but not much hitting after that. As El Duque and Jennings matched up, Carlos Delgado's home run, the only run of the game, and El Duque magnificent 8 strikeouts through 6. As Carlos Beltran bunts foul, leading off in the bottom of the 6th inning. El Duque with a Mets high 8 strikeouts. And hearty congratulations from the skipper. Driven to deep right center field. That goes Hoff looking up, and it's out of here. Home run number 35 for Carlos Beltran. 2-0 New York. Matching home runs for the Carloses for the 2 New York runs.
Well, the 3-4 in the order. And then that road trip, the last road trip, the middle of that order was slumping. Well, 3 and 4 have broken out.
To the third baseman Atkins playing in the shift, and he throws out Delgado 1 away.
Oh, we're going to see the home run right here. Oh, that's not a bud. Didn't get down enough. And had too much of the plate, Ronnie. Way too much of the plate. And didn't have the biting sink because he hung it.
But just so much power to be able to hit a line shot. This pitch is a little down. It's not waist high. And to be able to go down and pull that ball with that kind of power over the right center field wall, that's pretty impressive.
So Beltran with his 35th, now just 3 shy of his career high. He liked it. David Wright takes ball 1. Well, it may be a little late to mention this, but this season the 6th inning means it's time to swing for sandwiches. Nice job, Carlos. If a Met hits a home run, and he did, you can log on to WB11.com for your chance to score a $100 gift card at Subway. 101 to Wright. It's been a fun year for Carlos Beltran. Taking aim on Met Club records for home runs and runs batted in this year.
You know, it just says, you know, after last year, had a difficult year, disappointing year for that kind of player. Boy, what a comeback. And it tells you a little bit about certain guys. Some guys can still produce when they're a little hurt or whatever. Beltran, those injuries last year cost him a good season because he's, you know, he said it many times. And I honestly, in reading it, didn't understand it as well as I understand it now. But his legs, he has said it many times, are the foundation of his game, and he's so right watching him this year.
2-2 to Wright, and David bounces 1 to third. Atkins makes the play, 2 out. When the top of the 6th ended, El Duque got the strikeout. DeFelice rolled the ball back to the mound. Look what happened.
Michael Tucker.
Well, I'll tell you, I've done that before. I was thinking personally, as he's talking to Sandy Alomar, that it might have been a big career kind of strikeout. We looked at the numbers. I don't think so. I was pitching in Houston, and Houston used to have a pitcher that was accused of doctoring the ball.
I was just going to go there.
And I was pitching against him in the Astrodome, and let's just say I was using the ball he was using to my advantage. But if I got a strikeout at the end of the inning and the catcher rolled it out, I brought it to the bench because I did not want our hitters to have to go against that same ball.
Well, El Duque put that on a shelf in the dugout. Or did he?
Well, they'll never know now.
3-0 to Michael Tucker.
We're speculating, of course, but If there's no more evidence, he threw it into the crowd.
Tucker walks on 4 pitches. That's the second walk given up by Jennings, and both have gone to Tucker. Yeah, he did flip it into the crowd.
Well, that's certainly not to say that you literally would get. It's not like now because they throw a lot of the balls out of play. But used to, you could go a whole 2 innings with the same ball, and you would get a scuff because it would hit the infield dirt, and you get a nice scuff on it. And if you're a pitcher who knew what to do, you could use that to your advantage.
There's Chris Woodward, and he fouls it back. But the umpire clearly saw him pick up the ball. Now, whether he followed him over and saw him toss it into the crowd, but that's got to raise somebody's suspicions, right?
I don't know. I think El Duque just. I think, you know, he certainly does not scuff the ball because I'm watching him throw. His ball doesn't have the movement of someone who scuffs the ball. And if you're a controlled pitcher.
Tucker runs, thrown by Torrealba, not in time, and Tucker has his first stolen base. Michael Tucker has certainly contributed in this series.
Well, a good pitch to throw on here. And he's up the line towards the runner, but Tucker just got too good a jump. A little piggyback ride.
The wheelbarrow.
So Tucker in scoring position for Woodward with 2 out. 1-2.
Well, Jennings on the losing end with these 2 home runs he's given up to Beltran and Delgado, but you got to be impressed with the
this is his
way
season.
he pitches.
This is his season. This is the way it's gone for him. They don't score for him. He's 7-9, despite the 6th best ERA in the league. And he strikes out Woodward with the slider. It's 5 strikeouts for Jason Jennings. But the Mets expand their lead on Carlos Beltran's 35th home run of the year. Each of the Carloses is homered. 2-0 New York. New York Mets baseball is brought to you by Chevrolet, announcing Chevy Sign and Drive. Visit your local Chevy dealer and leave your checkbook at home. Chad Bradford will pitch the 7th inning after a magnificent outing by El Duque as we check out the Lexus line score. 0-5-1 for Colorado, 2-4-0 for New York.
It's interesting, you know, as you see El Duque explaining his good day today of work of 6 innings, but Chad Bradford now in the ball game. Well, he's done this a couple times now. Even though the Rockies have a leadoff hitter as a left-handed hitter, he has that much confidence in Chad Bradford that he can get through that left-hander to face the right-hander Torrealba and Barmes.
Did it night before last, brought him in to face Todd Helton, and Bradford gave him a scoreless inning. But El Duque, after giving up 11 runs in his last outing, the most earned runs ever given up by a Mets starting pitcher, bounces back with 6 shutout innings today.
El Duque is a pro. I'm telling you. You know, there's certain guys when we do these games that I say to myself, you know what? If I was still playing, I'd like to be on the team with him. And El Duque is one of those guys.
Brad Hop, 1 hopper to Delgado, 1 pitch, and Bradford gets the left-hand hitter out. 1 away.
Well, those 11 runs are all forgotten.
Yeah.
Turn the page.
It really makes you think about October, because you know that El Duque was going to play a prominent role anyway, but now with the question marks, with Pedro still on the disabled list with a calf injury, with questions about Glavine, El Duque becomes that much more important as the Mets look toward the postseason.
You know, Keith and Gary, we're watching him pitch too. It's not like he's doing it with smoke and mirrors. Somehow just getting by with less than adequate stuff. This is good stuff he's throwing. Fastballs 90 miles an hour on the corner, breaking balls that are sharp, backdoor breaking balls left-hander. His stuff is good.
He knows how to pitch.
Torrealba takes a strike, 1-1. Well, and El Duque's track record in October is impeccable. So that pickup, which looked like it was an kind of a deal when the Mets made it back in May, trading Jorge Julio to get El Duque. And does the Chris Benson deal look pretty good right now that you've got Maine and El Duque out of that trade?
2/5 of your rotation now is from that Benson trade.
Well, I always felt that that was a good gamble by Omar Minaya, that there was really no role for Jorge Julio here, and he was pitching better. His value went up. The scouts were watching him, and there's a little bit of a little cheese dangling in front of the scouts and the other general managers, and they nibbled, and you get a starter out of it. It was a good gamble, and if El Duque fell flat on his face, it was a worthy gamble because you didn't lose a real big component to the team.
Yeah, he's pitching throwaway innings, Julio.
Now, El Duque has had, I think it's 3 outings now, which have been disasters. 2 he got knocked out in the second inning, and then the last one he gave up 11 runs. But the flip side is that every other time he's gone out there, he's been good enough to allow the team to win, and that's what you're looking for.
And at times has been dominant. 8 strikeouts today. You don't get 8 strikeouts by, just flipping it in there. You got to make some quality pitches. Mark Clarkson had a nice big strike zone, but you have to have the ability to be able to use that strike zone, throw it to spots.
And he was never better than in the 5th when the Rockies had 2nd and 3rd and nobody out, and he needed strikeouts, and he got 3 in a row. Jose Mesa up in the Colorado bullpen.
Gary, you've been here a long time like me, and we have seen this Met organization, and since Omar took it over, this has been a situation, ball four, excuse me, where in the past they didn't have the depth in the minor leagues to plug the holes. And the one thing that Omar said when he took over the helm here was that he was going to replenish the farm system and have people down that AAA level that if things go tough up here and need replacements, we're going to have them. And he has done that in the past. And Mets would have been in deep trouble.
Well, the Mets have used 12 starting pitchers now, and some of that help has come from younger pitchers like Mike Pelfrey, who was last year's first-round draft pick. Some have come from fill-in people like Jose Lima and Jeremy Gonzalez, but they had enough depth that when those guys failed, they were able to move to the next step.
There's small deals that are made all the time that are not on the radar. Dave Williams, for example, you sign him, you put him in AAA just in case happened.
And you know what? I think a lot of credit also goes to the Mets scouting department, because you look at the players they've identified, not just the pitchers, but the Andy Chavez's and the smaller deals, as you say. They seem to have gotten it right in most of those cases. And John Main's a perfect example of that.
You know, when I think of John Main, and he struggled early in his career in Baltimore.
Barmes to third. Nice pickup by Wright. Woodward with the turn. Double play, side retired. 5-4-3 to end the inning. Tough part was on the front end, and Wright with the pickup to get it started.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Sterling Mats and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Sterling Mats.
Be sure to be at Shea on Tuesday night at 7:10 for the start of a 3-game set with the 2005 National League MVP Albert Pujols and the Cardinals. Then the Phillies come to Shea on Friday for a weekend series. Go to Mets.com today for your prorated season tickets. And the Phillies come to town with a new pitcher. Well, he's not new. He's kind of old. Jamie Moyer acquired from the Mariners last night. As we look at the Toyota National League scoreboard, Florida leading Atlanta. Braves took the first 2 of that series. Cincinnati with the 1-game lead in the wild card, leading the Pirates. 4 RBIs for Abraham Nunez and the Phillies. They're 2.5 back in the wild card. Houston leading Milwaukee, trying to get the finale of that series after the Brewers took the first 2. And the Cardinals 2.5 games up in the Central, leading in Chicago. Arizona, San Diego, Dodgers in San Francisco later. And you got to believe, too. Jose Mesa takes over the pitching.
Well, I'm surprised Jose Mesa's in the game. Jason Jennings, fine pitching, only 2 runs, 6 innings, a couple of home runs. And I'll tell you, as a starting pitcher, if I'm pitching well and the team's not really scoring runs, leave me in there. Give me a chance maybe this later in the game. But Mesa's been a guy that Clint Earl's gone to. This is his 62nd time on the mound. Mesa's just defying age, like a lot of players you see now, Keith, well into their, 39, 40, 41, 42, still excelling.
I agree with you, Jennings. I'd want to stay in. I'm not going to lose this game. I want to lose it. I want
So it's another.
I feel fine, Coach.
It's another quality non-winning start for Jennings, and that's really the story of his entire season. But you're right. If you leave after 6, you don't get a chance for a win. If you stay around for 7 or 8, maybe you do.
I would be doing some serious politicking. I am not coming out of that game. I mean, I would tell at the time, as you see Aaron Heilman out there getting ready for the 8th inning.
DeFelice fouls it away.
This is what would happen if I were pitching in the 80s and that was that kind of situation. I would go to Mel. I'd say, Mel, if they go down 1, 2, 3, I'm the 4th guy in the order. I'm not coming out of this game. So you let Davey know I am not out of this game. Then he'll score a run.
Andy Chavez getting set to pinch hit.
That's how the game has changed the other day. That is.
But he threw. I mean, it's not like he threw 110. He threw 95 pitches, which would make you think he'd be perfectly lined up to pitch one more inning. His turn at bat would come up in the top of the 8th, and then he'd be done.
That's why you're going to have no 20-game winners in the National League.
You may not have a 15-game winner the way it's going. Tom Martin up in the Colorado bullpen. 1 and 2 to DeFelice, who's grounded out twice.
I don't want to lose this game. I'm throwing a good game. I feel fine.
But maybe he didn't.
I'm leading off in the 9th inning. Let me go one more.
That's the other thing you don't know. Maybe feel fine. Maybe he asked out. Bob Apodaca, former Mets and now Rockies pitching coach.
Jason Jennings, to me, unless he had an injury, is not that kind of pitcher. I think he likes to stay in games.
I agree.
He has 2 shutouts this year. Has pitched 6 or more innings, 22 out of his 25 starts, or now 23 out of 26. So he likes to be out there.
Just to play devil's advocate, though. Remember back in the 1st inning, he took a shot off his leg from Reyes. Maybe that stiffened up. You don't know.
Well, you just won't look good when you go to the beach. That's the only problem you'll have. You'll have, like,
Wally Whitehurst syndrome.
Only his hairdresser will know.
3 and 2 to DeFelice, leading off in the bottom of the 7th, and he hits one to right. Long run back for Hop, and he runs it down. 1 away.
Wasn't there a commercial that said only your hairdresser knows?
Yeah, but that has to do with hair coloring, not getting black and blue marks on your legs.
Well, I was making a comparison. I know. An analogy there. Is that? That wasn't a good one, was it?
Keep going. It's fine. Ricky Leday will bat for the pitcher. It was Chavez on deck, but with 1 out and nobody on, Leday, who has more power, will come up. Leday has not shown a whole lot since joining the Mets, just 1 for 13. There's Endy, save for later, if necessary.
He was taking a lot of extra BP on the field Friday, excuse me. And, you know, it is, when you're an everyday player, it's what you have to do. It was always the extra players that came early. Everyday players only take extra BP at 3 o'clock when they're in a slump. The extra players have to come out and stay sharp somehow because they don't get enough swings in BP at 5 o'clock.
Ricky knows what it's like to be a bench player. He's been a very successful bench player in his career.
You know, Keith, you mentioned something earlier in the broadcast. I got to ask you, everyday player, you're out there all the time. Tomorrow the Mets have an off day. What did you do on your off day on August 21st, 1986? What would your off day be like?
I would sleep till my normal hour, which would be 12 noon.
Was 4?
maybe 12:30. Maybe 1. Oh!
And back to Mesa. That took a base hit away from Leday, and there are 2 out. When you're going bad, the pitcher gets that ball.
Well, we'll start from the top. The game ends that night. You got a day off. Well, I wouldn't get home until around 2:30, and wake up around 12:30, maybe 1 o'clock. Yeah, if I was really tired, and just relax and be able to have an 8 o'clock dinner. Just kick around. You got nothing to do.
Yeah,
but just enjoy the day, the afternoon in my case.
Yeah. Now, would some guys play golf on their off day?
Some guys would. I would not want to waste any energy. That was a day to regroup, get my strength. The only thing I worked on was my elbow. I was tipping. I had a good beer at 5 o'clock.
Reyes bucks one in the air, and Mesa's got it to end the inning. Well, everybody's got to exercise somehow just to stay in shape.
You get atrophied.
On to the 8th, 2-0 New York. We go to the 8th inning. Billy Wagner doing some tossing with Lasting's Millage. Perhaps getting ready for his 9th inning. If you love Raymond, listen up. Starting tomorrow, you're going to get 2 Rays in a row. That's a full hour of family fun every weeknight between 7 and 8. Everybody loves Raymond. Weeknights at 7 and 7:30 starting tomorrow on the WB11. Aaron Heilman, 2 innings for the win last night, right back out there today.
I cannot say enough good things about Aaron Heilman. Post the injury to Duaner Sanchez in the taxi cab incident, he was given the 8th inning. He was given that extra responsibility, and he has responded. Unscored upon in 9 of his last 10 outings, Heilman has just stepped it up a notch.
And that's all since Sanchez got hurt. He had the 1 bad outing in Florida, but it didn't seem to phase him, and he has really been effective. There are his numbers since Sanchez went down.
Well, look at all the Met relievers in the 8th inning. You got to love that.
But most of that is Heilman. And you have to believe, and Willie Randolph has talked about that, he's gotten his confidence back. You have to believe that the increased responsibility has flipped the switch. Jason Smith pinch hitting, 2-1. And there he is in the 8th inning since the injury to Sanchez. Look at that, 129 batting average against. Popped up. Long run for Reyes. He has the better angle, and Wright gets out of the way. 1 out.
Well, this is one thing I've always liked about Jose Reyes, that he needs no improvement on. Since he came up, he always takes charge of those pop-ups in short outfield. He wants the pop-up. He wants it. And there he is calling for it. So, very aggressive player.
Always a better play for the shortstop than for the third baseman.
Absolutely.
So 1 away. Here's Jamie Carroll, who's 0 for 3 today, 2 for 12 in this series. And he takes a strike. El Duque went the first 6, allowed 5 hits, walked 1, struck out 8, most he's had in any start as a Met. Chad Bradford, a hitless 7th, and Heilman working the 8th. Off day tomorrow, so a day of rest for everybody in that Mets bullpen. And I'm sure that's why Willie felt comfortable sending Heilman out there today after working 2 innings last night. Carroll hit in the batter's box by his foul bunt, 1-2.
Well, I'm sure it had to play some head games with Heilman as you see this attempted bunt by Jamie Carroll trying to get on base. That's a nice play. He's not a home run hitter, trying to get on base, get the tying run up to the plate. Had to be some head games for Heilman. He came to spring training, wanted to be a starter. All right, he was going to be put in the bullpen. Then Sanchez got off to that unbelievable start where he did not give up a run his first 20-odd innings. And he got the 8th inning, and then Heilman was just pushed back again.
And Carroll went around, strike 3. 2 out.
Boy, it's nice to see that. You know, usually when he comes in, it's fastball changeup. That was a slider by Aaron Heilman. Love to see that pitch down and away from Carroll, and that's why it fooled Carroll. He knows going up to the plate, he's looking fastball changeup.
That is a sneak attack right there. And if he can do that on occasion and pick his spots and throw it like that,
yes.
You don't want to hang it. You just don't want to throw a how do you do up there.
Here's Corey Sullivan, 0 for 2 and a walk. And he takes the changeup for a strike. Well, also, the Mets have gone through 12 starting pitchers now. And Brian Fuentes, the closer for the Rockies, is up along with Jeremy Outfield. There was a time early in the season when I think Aaron could accept the fact that he was being bypassed for the rotation. But when Sanchez went by him and the Mets kept running out starter after starter and he wasn't one of them, it had to have an impact on him.
Absolutely. And I think he lost his confidence. I think he just felt like he was not an important part of the team. Coming into spring training, he felt like, you know, everyone kept telling him, hey, listen, you are so important to our bullpen. Well, if I'm so important, how come I'm not pitching later in the game? So I think that's where he is now. He's getting those innings that he wanted, and it's improved in confidence.
On 2-1, Sullivan fouls back the fastball, 2-2. Check out the Toyota American League scoreboard. Yankees and Red Sox play tonight. Texas has been rolling lately. They're leading at Detroit in the 6th. Cleveland up on Tampa Bay. Minnesota leading the White Sox. Twins 2 games behind Chicago in that wild card race. It foul.
How about the job that Ron Gardenhire and Rick Anderson, who former Mets, of course, have done in Minnesota. Anderson, of course, with those young pitchers, and Ron Gardenhire, who I never knew he wanted to be a manager when I played with him in AAA, and he's just outstanding.
It's one of the great stories because Gardy's a good guy. We love Gardy.
Fastball just misses. And Justin Morneau has emerged as one of the great young hitters in the American League, along with Joe Mauer, the catcher, local kid from the Minneapolis-St. Paul area. Morneau was a catcher growing up in Canada. In fact, he was Jeff Francis's catcher growing up. Francis, who pitched last night for the Rockies.
This Minnesota, as you saw in those standings, they just leapfrogged Boston. In Minnesota, what, 2 months ago, they were nowhere.
Well, they got off to a slow start, but ever since the middle of May, they've been outstanding.
And so far, they've survived the loss of Liriano. Yes. Whether they can do that for the next 6 weeks remains to be seen.
Well, they brought up the young Matt Garza, who's trying to eat up some of those innings and be successful.
And Heilmann strikes out Sullivan, side retired. Back-to-back strikeouts for Heilmann. Mets pitching has been impeccable today. That's the 10th strikeout in 8 innings. With the Rockies having had no save opportunities in this series, closer Brian Fuentes will get an inning here in the bottom of the 8th.
Fuentes, probably one of the first closers from the left-hand side that has that sidearm motion. Throws a good fastball that sinks away from the right-handed hitters, a slider, and also has an excellent changeup. 3 pitches for this pitcher Fuentes, who does not throw. He's not one of those closers who throws in the mid-90s.
His 3rd year as the Colorado closer, 23 saves this year. Had 31 last year. And Lastings Millage will lead off the last of the 8th. Mets looking for some insurance, up 2-0 with Billy Wagner getting ready for the 9th. Another strong inning for Aaron Heilmann.
Boy, just dominant. He comes in and you don't see very many good swings from the opposing hitters.
Millage 1 for 3. And takes a fastball for a strike. Off speed, gets ahead of Millage.
He's got the funky motion.
This guy would kill you, Keith. You hate those guys with the funky motion, right? Herky-jerky motion?
I did not like those herky-jerky motions. Look how he kind of bends his arm, his elbow, when he on his delivery, when he breaks from the glove. It's almost like he shoves it.
It looks very painful the way he bends his arm behind him.
Listen, I'm feeling my bone chips as we speak. He just, he kind of wraps the ball for one, and you see that change-up grip.
And he strikes out Millage, 1 away. So 1 out and nobody on.
The center fielder, Carlos Beltran.
Well, good changeup here by Fuentes, down and in.
If you thought facing a Billy Wagner heater was tough, how'd you like to face off against one of these guys? Catch the WWE SmackDown every Friday night starting this fall right here on the home of the new CW11. There's Carlos Beltran, who hit his 35th home run, batting left-handed last time up. Now batting right-handed, takes a strike. Billy Wagner getting ready for the 9th. Got his 30th save last night, and they have been rolling in lately. If you're a teenager and you're discouraged about how your baseball career is going, take heart from Brian Fuentes. Cut from his high school varsity as a junior. And he's pitching in the big leagues and making a lot of money. And he strikes out Beltran, 2 down.
Who's the coach?
Yeah, just
fire him.
It's like the coach that cut Michael Jordan in his freshman year in high school. What's he thinking?
Wait a second, it got better. After he got cut, he decided to take a job at Chuck E. Cheese where he dressed up as a giant mouse. That could have been his life, but he persevered and made a team as a senior in his senior season. Went on to pitch in JUCO and got drafted, and look where he is.
You ever spent any time at Chuck E. Cheese?
Very little.
Never. Tell me.
Loud.
Oh, is it loud?
Very loud.
Anybody dressed up as a big mouse? It might have been Brian Fuentes. Strike to Delgado, who homered back in the second, his 29th of the year.
I'm gathering it's a burger joint.
It's
a pizza joint.
It's a joint where you bring. It's not a joint. It's a place.
Cigars?
Yes. It's a place where moms and dads will bring their young kids for birthday parties. So you have 250 6-year-olds running around playing games. It's very loud.
That's loud. Wow. Somehow my kids never wanted to go there.
You were loud.
Delgado hits one foul.
You probably said, go ask your mother.
I probably said, let's eat at home. And Delgado strikes out. Torrealba makes the toss to first. Fuentes strikes out the side in the bottom of the 8th. And so the Mets will take a 2-0 lead in the 9th and hand it off to Billy the Kid, going for save 31. New York Mets baseball is brought to you by Jeep. Check out the #1 selling brand of SUVs in the Northeast. By T-Mobile, get more minutes, more features, more service. By your Tri-State Volkswagen dealers, visit tristatevw.com. By Washington Mutual, stop by and experience the WAMU Way. And by Land Rover, experience the highly advanced Land Rover L3 at LandRoverUSA.com. Andy Chavez will play right field. Billy Wagner on to try and save it. Todd Helton leads off and takes a strike. Wagner pitching for the 4th straight day.
And you're able to do that because you have the off day tomorrow. If you did not have an off day, Heilman might have finished this game, but Wagner able to pitch here on Sunday.
Well, it's a good matchup right here, isn't it?
Yes.
Helton goes the other way and fouls it.
Very defensive swing there, isn't it? He's not swinging with any real authority. Like he's just touching, feeling for the ball. Watch this. The pitch up and away. Just kind of, it's a tough lefty out there, but you know, that's not a Todd Helton swing.
Helton on his 33rd birthday, 1 for 3 today. And again, he uses the emergency swing to foul it off.
That looked like a stick save.
And a beauty.
Look at.
The worst emergency swing of all time, I think, was Bernie Carbo in the '75 World Series.
Then he hit a home run.
Yes.
Good pitch right there. He came inside after 3 pitches away. We talked to Gary and Ronnie about it. Wagner throwing more inside or inside the left-handers, away to right-handers. He's got a lock on that inside corner to right-hand hitters.
Oh-2 pitch to shortstop. Reyes in front of it. And he throws out Helton, 1 away. That's a big out because now you have the 2 right-hand power hitters coming up in a 2-0 game.
Well, we had a pretty good hitter up there, I think, in Todd Helton, to say the least. Pretty good pitcher out there, to say the least. Pitch sequence, fastball away, knee high outside corners, a strike. Belt high away, 0-2. Just got a piece of a slider, inside fastball. God, he just went right out. Was no wasting time. I've got you 0-2, and I'm not letting you up for air.
And Holliday takes the fastball inside. Holliday hit a fly ball double down the right field line his last time up. Fouled away, 1-1. The Mets have 7 shutout victories this year. The Rockies have been shut out 9 times. Garrett Atkins, who's homered in each of the first 2 games of this series, on deck. And Wagner just overpowering the hitters, 1 and 2.
When he uses both sides of the plate with his stuff at 97 miles an hour, he can not only dominate you, at times he's going to embarrass you. That's how good his stuff is.
I think he's better when he works more.
Yeah.
Gets more in a groove.
I think he thinks that too.
Yeah. And that's half the battle, right? If you believe that, you're going to pitch better when you get more work. And certainly is now.
He can tie Trevor Hoffman for the league lead in saves if he can pick up his 31st today. 2-2 pitch inside. You don't want to walk Holiday. Atkins has been a very hot hitter on deck.
Oh, here hit it. It's going to be just throw the rear back and let it go. Throw a strike here. Make him earn his way on.
Struck him out. 98 miles an hour on the inside black. Unhittable.
You know you have a good fastball when the hitter knows it's coming. You know you got to throw it, and you still throw it by him. Holiday, excellent year, excellent hitter, just right by him.
Like a little cutter. That ball ran.
It had a lot of movement.
So 2 out and nobody on. Rockies down to their final out. Mets on the verge of a 3-game sweep. Garrett Atkins takes ball 1.
Well, the Mets have been so dominant against the West this year. They win today. They go 19-7 against the West.
1-1 to Atkins. Mets also trying to win their 8th straight home game, which would be their longest home winning streak since the 2000 season. Glenn Hurdle's team was hoping to make a good showing here, but they're on the verge of getting skunked. Toward the middle, Reyes to his left, bobbles, recovers, fires, got him! Ball game over. Wagner's strong left arm and Reyes' strong right arm put a finish on this one for New York, and the Mets sweep the Rockies, win their 8th straight home game, and move to 27 games over 500.
Well, this is all arm here. This play doesn't come up with it cleanly. That is just the arm that makes the play.
That was an Armando Benitez ball. Made the throw and he made the call.
Beltran and Delgado with home runs. El Duque with 6 shutout innings. Bradford, Heilman, and Wagner do the rest. And the Mets with an 8-game home winning streak for the first time since the 2000 season.
Well, all those Met fans that were calling the fan after they threw off the first 3 games in Philadelphia, well, you can take your head out of the oven. They just need to get back home.
Quite a weekend here at Shea, tempered only by the uncertainty about Tom Glavine, but the magnificent ceremonies last night, a 3-game sweep of the Colorado Rockies. The Mets continue to lower their magic number. It's down to 26, and they'll have the Cardinals coming in on Tuesday night to open a 3-game series. Chris Connors standing by with one of the home run heroes.
All right, thanks, Gary. Carlos, you went deep again. Are you coming out of it? Are you out of it? Are you close? You feeling good?
I feel pretty good. I'm seeing the ball good. I feel like I got good rhythm at the plate, and I'm driving the ball, so that's a good sign.
For this team, bad news at the start of the day with Tom Glavine, yet you still get El Duque going out there and really picking you up. It's been the story all year.
Yeah, you know, he's sad to hear about Tommy, and he's going to have some more tests done soon. Hopefully everything is all right with him. But for us, it was great for El Duque to go out there and give us 6 solid innings. I mean, he threw the ball really well. We got a couple points on the board and come up with a big win.
I've talked to you about this before with Maine and El Duque and even looking at Williams yesterday. It seems like you've had guys at the back end of this rotation picking you up all year long when you need it.
Yeah, we needed it. We needed that. We need guys to step it up and give us some good innings. And like I say, those guys they done that. I guess they understand they're pitching for a good team. We got a good lineup. If they can keep us in the game, we're gonna get some points on the board.
Okay, thanks, Carlos.
Thank you. Gary?
All right, thanks, Chris. Thanks, Carlos. Jose Reyes making the final play to preserve the 2-0 victory. The Mets' 8th shutout win of the year to move them 27 games over 500. Mets complete the sweep of the Rockies. Back with more from Shea in a moment.
He said he's feeling better. And then strong MVP candidate of the National League, Carlos Beltran, hits his 35th. What a year he's having.
101 RBIs for Beltran, and, well, that's all the offense the Mets got, and that's all the offense El Duque needed.
Well, you know, coming off that, start where he gave up 11 earned runs, you had to like the job that El Duque did today. He really was on top of his game, not only with his breaking pitches, with his fastball, he had 8 strikeouts. El Duque pitched the kind of game that the Mets are looking for him to pitch as they have more important games in October. That's how good he was today.
8 strikeouts, the most he's had in his 15 starts as a Met. And so El Duque now 7-5 in a Mets uniform. He pitched the 6 shutout innings, and the bullpen was just magnificent again.
Well, it's really just, it's really set up now, isn't it, Keith and Gary? It's just, it seems like rapid fire. You have Bradford and Feliciano maybe for that 7th inning. They can go back and forth. Heilman pitching that 8th the way he pitched today. And then Wagner, of course, the more work he gets, the better it seems he gets.
That's what it seems like to me, Gary. He's one of those guys. He's a horse. And the more he's throwing harder now, I think, than he has been most of the year. And he did quick work with the Rockies here in this entire series.
Wagner pitching on his 4th straight day, got his 31st save of the year, and he was at his dominant best. Mets win 2-0 over the Rockies to sweep the series. We'll come back to Shea in just a moment. Time to check out the Jeep game summary. Mets with the shutout victory, their 8th of the year. Orlando Hernandez and the 3 relievers combining on a 5-hitter. Mets only had 4 hits of their own, but Delgado and Beltran with home runs. Jason Jennings, story of his year. Quality start, and he doesn't win as he falls to 7-10 on the year. The Mets with the win, 14.5 up on the Phillies, who right now lead 10-7 over Washington in the 6th inning. Mets now 27 games over 500. The magic number down to 26 for clinching. Here's where the action is in the National League wild card. The Rockies lose a game to the Reds, who are leading Pittsburgh. They may lose a game today if Cincinnati winds up with a win. They're up 5-1 in the 9th inning. And this was a day when the Mets got the pitching they needed, they got the home runs they needed, and they just wiped out the Rockies, who came here with pretty good aspirations.
Well, just an all-around great game by the Mets today on a day that they got some not bad news. They don't know what the news is yet on Tommy Glavine, but one of that key pieces to their rotation, of course, El Duque goes out and throws a great game.
I agree, and let's remember one thing. As a Met now, this year, El Duque is 7-5. He's won 7 ball games.
Great bounce-back performance by El Duque after giving up the 11 earned runs in his previous game. 6 shutout innings today as the Mets take care of business against Colorado, 2-0. Final thoughts from Shea when we come back. Well, the Mets complete the sweep of the Rockies 2-0, a weekend that probably seems surreal to you guys.
I don't know. I really enjoy 55,000 people cheering for you. It's a great moment for me.
Just a wonderful, what can I say? I loved it.
Well, it was everything that a Met fan and a Met player from either 86 or 06 could have hoped for this weekend here at Shea Stadium. As the Mets win it 2-0, be sure to join us on the WB11 for our next Mets telecast Saturday at 7 o'clock when the Mets play the Phillies here at Shea. Now stay tuned for the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. So long from Shea Stadium.